How's it going, everyone, and welcome to the Ultimate Game Realms Radiocam show. This is Dixon logging on. In this video will be a closing out for 2022. Well, actually, I'm going to start by saying I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. I had a decent one, nothing too special, but that's what it is anymore these days, though. I'm glad it's over, though, and I'm looking forward for 2023. And looking forward to bringing the good old spring back. Okay, what's the good things about year 2022 for me? Well, I turned big 40 in April. I'll be turning 41 in next April. So far, things have been going pretty good for me, and I just trying to remember what the big projects I've been getting this year. Yeah, earlier this year, yeah, I think it was around spring, I actually gotten my Xbox Series X console, which is the 4K console. That's the tower lookalike Xbox. And I'm pretty happy that I got that finally. I've been wanting to get one of those for quite some time, and they've been kind of hard to get, but I got one now. So that pretty much replaces my old Xbox One and the majority of Xbox 360 and partially the original Xbox. I do enjoy that console for majority of purposes, for playing all Xbox games as I can whenever I get a chance to, that is. Especially with the Game Pass, I actually been playing some of the games for free, like the Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. That's one of the games that came out this year, and it's one of the best ones. It's a definite throwback to the old Ninja Turtles games. And speaking of the old Ninja Turtles games, they came out with the Cowabunga collection for all platforms. I got the physical copy on the Switch. That was pretty damn awesome. Konami did a real awesome job with that one, just like they did with Castlevania collection and Contra collection. They brought all the old games from like the 8-bit, 16-bit, and Game Boy era into one. It's amazing. As well as the arcade ports of the games as well, too. We'll get to that part in a little bit. Excuse me. Anyway, Xbox Series X console is one thing I got this year. I enjoy pretty much. And 2022 is also the year that I retire from collecting old hardware retro game consoles, which I did made a video about why I discontinued. Like I said in that video, just because I'm done collecting old game hardware doesn't mean I'm done with retro gaming. Still get a decent clone console here and there too, or collecting any of the minis. You know, something like that. And also, my Oculus Quest 2 is pretty much a new experience for me, which is known as Meta Quest 2 now. I got that headset shortly before the price hike. They went up for $100 more on each gigabyte version. Plus, they also released a new Quest Pro, which is about over $1,000. Might get that someday, but not anytime soon. I'm liking the Quest 2 the way it is right now too. And I also made a video about why I jumped from HTC Vive to Quest 2, because I'm tired of all the wires and motion sensors and all that crap. I mean, especially when I don't have enough room in my room for it. That's why I just continue with the old ways. I mean, they were pretty awesome for a time, but now technology is pretty much moving on. I like to, okay, what's next? And lately on Black Friday, I also gotten my, also this year on Black Friday, I got my Thrustmaster 16000M flight set. Under $200. Usually the regular price is over $200, like $250 or something I got mine for about almost $100 less on Black Friday, I believe. It was the Thrustmaster T16000M set that includes a regular joystick and this throttle switch and the rudder pedals, which takes a little bit to get used to since it's a new step in that direction for me with the flight games. Anyway, the Thrustmaster set's pretty awesome. It actually has much more buttons than the regular default device that I previously had, which I gave to my nephew, by the way, since I upgraded mine. This works quite well for Microsoft Flight Simulator and Elite Dangerous. Those are the only two games I've been playing the games with the peripheral. But usually I wish I had the yoke wheel for some of the flying games for flight simulation, though, that uses the yoke wheel. Anyway, what else? Now this is pretty much a personal thing for me this year, and in the year review is I actually went out of state for the first time last summer. I went to Vegas, and I had a pretty blast of a time. It was a new experience getting out of the state for the first time, and because I'm kind of a loner, I don't really get out too much or in general, and I also want to move out of the state of Washington elsewhere. Yeah, another reason why I'm getting rid of the old consoles as well is because I'm also planning on trying to move out eventually, and I don't want to carry all that stuff with me, or should I say it's kind of junk to me, but value elsewhere. But that's why I'm trying to sell off as much as I can. Yeah, I'm trying to actually create a new experience in my gaming world, as well as in my personal life as well too. Just trying to be a little bit more active and all that, as well as simple as possible. Well, anyway, let's get to the best games of the year. Not exactly in orders, but recently I got the Atari 50th Anniversary Collection, and that collection was awesome. They got some awesome content in there, including video content from like interviews or some classic TV commercials and flyers and stuff. Plus, they actually have a majority of the 2600 and the arcade games from the previous Atari Flashback or Atari Vault compilations. Plus, they also added 5200 games in the last compilation. They still have those ones in this compilation. Plus, they added added Atari games from different consoles or home computers. Yeah, they added some 7800 games, which is the 8-bit console. And they added some Atari Lynx and Jaguar games for the first time in an Atari compilation. I was impressed. They're showing those consoles love too. Just too bad they couldn't get the best ones in there that are licensed. Well, they actually have the best game on that console, and that was Tempest 2000. Thank God they have that in there. They also have the arcade game of the original arcade game as well too, so that's a plus. Yeah, Tempest 2000 is definitely the most fun game to play on the Atari Jaguar. And they added some of the games I haven't even played before. But they also have the Atari Karts on there, which is also which was a answer to Nintendo's Super Nintendo's Mario Kart. There have been a lot of rip-offs to Mario Kart, and this one is no exception, definitely. Of course, it's definitely the most rarest game to get on the Atari Jaguar console. I mean, I got in the Repro Kart, and it runs pretty damn good. Glad it's on the compilation, of course. I will be also doing an actual review on the Atari 50th Anniversary Celebration compilation as well. This will be one of the first game reviews I'll be releasing in January. So, bear that in mind. And there will be more stuff to talk about. So, that compilation's the compilation's really badass. I actually bought it on the PC. They have it available on all platforms, but I bought it on PC because I wanted to record the footage. So I'll probably get on the Switch eventually too, but good compilation, $40, awesome. What else? Oh yes, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga Collection. That compilation is recommendable for fans of the Ninja Turtle games from the 90s that were on the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis, and Game Boy. Plus, they also have the 2 arcade games in that compilation, as well as the console parts of those arcade games. And it also has all 3 Game Boy games on there. Plus, they have all versions of Tournament Fighters and etc. It's definitely a compilation worth getting for $40 or under. I actually gotten that one on the Switch, a physical copy of that one. Plus, earlier that year, they actually made us kind of like a spiritual successor to that game. Well, it's not exactly a spiritual successor, but it's definitely a love letter to the original games that were from the 90s. Shredder's Revenge. I actually played that one on the Xbox Series X since it was free with Game Pass. I actually don't currently own that one yet, but it was really awesome. It's done by the same people who did Streets of Rage 4. And Streets of Rage 4 is another good game too. It's another awesome one too that pays homage to the trilogy. And Shredder's Revenge is also recommendable too. Yeah, and there's also other games that came out. Oh yeah, recently they came out with Elevator Action Returns, which was originally known as Elevator Action 2. An updated version of that game on all platforms. They call it, they subtitled it S Tribute. They actually had kind of like an enhanced mode of Elevator Action Returns. Plus, they also have the original arcade game of the first game in there, which is a pretty awesome deal. $15 or less. I'd go for it. It's definitely one of my favorite side-scrolling games I played back in the day. It could be 1 to 2 player games. Definitely different than the first game. The first game you're just playing as this secret agent trying to get dossier folders, shooting agents that get in your way, and then you go down to the lower level and escape. This time but in Elevator Action Returns, you're actually eliminating terrorists from top 4 to bottom. You're playing as this anti-terrorist group. By choice of 3 people, you can only play 2 players co-op. Well, that's pretty much as far as you can go. But it's really awesome when you're playing 2 players of that game. So Elevator Action Returns is definitely a recommendable retro game. The first one is too. I mean, the first one's included with this updated version of Elevator Action Returns, so that one's recommendable too. What else? Another interesting game that recently came out called Scorn. That one was definitely, it's a first-person shooter game, definitely inspired by H.R. Geiger. And I could see this game as a big love letter to H.R. Geiger. This game is available for free if you have the Game Pass on Xbox. But I recently played a little bit of it. It's kind of hard to figure out though. So it's kind of a first-person shooter and puzzles, and it's kind of like a walking simulator, kind of like. Still trying to figure it out though, but it's still pretty cool. But probably $40 may be an asking price for some, but probably get it when it's on sale or look for more reviews on it. Overall, it is pretty cool looking by far. What other stuff? Oh yeah, enhanced edition of Blade Runner came out this year for all platforms. It had a buggy launch, and I'm hoping things get fixed for the game. Night Dive Studios did a updated version of that game. And hopefully they get updates if they haven't yet. But at least they actually brought it to consoles this time, though, because it used to be a PC exclusive back in '97. Of course, they brought that game to GOG a few years back. But now they have the Enhanced Edition for all platforms. But if you have it on PC or Steam or GOG, you get the original game for free, I believe, as an option. But hopefully they'll get it fixed, and hopefully they'll have it fixed for better purposes on the Switch for touchscreen. I'm glad Blade Runner is still getting love, even though with buggy launch. But regardless, I would rather play either version of Blade Runner than deal with that ridiculous sequel 2049. Well, next, Night Dive Studios also did a remaster version of Power Slave Exhumed, which was the console ports of the game, not the PC version. Hopefully they'll do a remaster version of the PC one, since that one's more gorier. But I'm also glad that the console ports are getting love, at least, too. I never did play that game back in the day, but I actually got it on the Steam, and it was pretty fun to play. Even though it's the console remaster version of the console ports, and usually PC versions are more superior, but I'm still glad the console ports are getting love for it, as I say. Just haven't gotten too much progress in it. And speaking of Night Dive Studios, they're also working with Apogee to bring back the Rise of the Triad games again, the original one, not the 2013 one. The ones back in the 90s, of course. I'm excited for that, though, because I've been playing that game on GOG years ago. I'm more excited for modern controls and updated 4K visuals. It's definitely a game to look into. Yeah, this Rise of the Triad HD version is known as the Ludicrous Jizz Edition, which features all the content plus new content. Plus, you also have an option of having the original soundtrack or the 2013 reboot soundtrack, which is pretty awesome. I'm totally looking forward to playing this game again, except this time in modern gameplay standards with the standard controls. I love playing the old games in remaster with modern keyboard style. Can't wait for that. Speaking of Night Dive Studios, I'm still waiting for the remake of System Shock. I played the demo of it and I enjoyed the hell out of it. Hopefully that'll be coming out soon, but then again they have to take their time in order to get a proper execution launch. And plus, I'm also looking forward for the enhanced edition of System Shock 2, which they're working on. Hopefully that'll come out first before the remake of System Shock. I'll be playing the enhanced edition of the first game for warm-up. What else? Well, from my VR experiences, I actually gotten into the Quest 2 recently, and they recently released the Quest Pro. But my experience of Quest games, or Quest 2 exclusives, I played the Resident Evil 4 game in VR recently. I was quite damn impressed. I just wish they actually bring all the original games, the original Raccoon trilogy and all for VR purposes, but like I said, it is what it is. So far, I'm actually having much easier experience with the Quest 2 than I did with the Vive headsets within the years, dealing with all the wires and the motion sensors and all that crap. Well, anyway, I'm not sure what else to add to There are plenty of newer games that came out this year. Some of them I actually haven't got a chance to get into yet, though, because I didn't have much time. I don't think I'm going to be making another video in 2022 on my Ultimate Gaming Realm channel. Well, and I will be working on projects, though, for next year, though. I got some lined up, though, still in work in progress. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching and listening. This is Dixon of the Ultimate Game Realm saying, so long, 2022, and Happy New Year to everybody. See you all in 2023. This is Dixon logging off.